Welcome into the In the Money podcast, the last one for February, for Saturday, February 25th. Big day at Fairgrounds, and we're going to take a look at the 4 graded stakes races there. I'm Tom Leach. Jim Goodman's alongside, Director of Mutuals and Simulcasting for Keeneland. And Jim, we've got a Derby prep race, the Risen Star, that culminates the run of stakes races, but it begins in the 8th with the Grade 3 Mineshaft Handicap. And got some horses that have shown an affinity for this surface. Which one did you land on?
Yeah, this is a nice race to start off the all-stakes pick 4. I narrowed it down a little bit. I don't think Eagle is the 2-horse and will probably be the favorite in here, but I'm not sure that I like him at 2-1 or 5-2. He's 5-2 morning line. He can win it, certainly. He's running the Stephen Foster in the Suburban. He's running against better competition than most of these. But I like a couple of horses that have liked the surface. Fairgrounds seems to be a little quirky, and there's a couple of horses that had good preps here. December 7 for Paul McGee, the 3-horse, even though moving up way up in class, he won on December 29th by 4 and looked like it just was a prep for this, just kind of getting a race into him. So I think he's going to move up. I think Honorable Duty, the 7, had a perfect prep race back in December with the $75,000 stakes race. And Le Peru picks up that mount. I think he's got a shot. I think Dazzling Jim, the 6-horse for Brad Cox and Alvarado got to know him last time out. And again, he had a good prep race on a muddy track. And I think those horses that have liked this track, I don't like Motom or Dalmore. I think they're not in very good form right now. But I think Eagle's got a shot. So I would go 4 deep in here. I wouldn't play a win bet. I might play December 7. If you get 8-1 on him, or I might play Honorable Duty at 8-1. So those two, I think, are the bargains of the race, and I think they've got a shot to win.
By the way, this does begin an all-stakes pick 4, and if you are wagering through your Keeneland Select account, there's a 10,000-point hit it and split it offer. So make sure that you check that out. You have to play in the all-stakes pick 4 that starts here in the 8th race to be eligible. So check that out on your Keeneland Select account. There is a late pick 4 as well that we're not going to get to, and there's the Black Gold pick 5 that starts here in the 8th race. We'll touch on that briefly as we wrap this up. The horse I'm going to is the 8 International Star. He's 4 wins out of 6 lifetime victories have come at the Fairgrounds. He has won here off a layoff a couple of times before with Mena riding and looks to be working well. So I didn't have a strong opinion on anybody, so maybe I might get a little bit of a price on International Star. I'm going to go there. And I'm going to use him with Dazzling Gem, Eagle, and Motom, and would use all 4 of those in my pick 4. 9th race is prep for the Kentucky Oaks. Grade 2 Rachel Alexandra, 3-year-old fillies at 1 mile and a 16th. And fillies coming off this circuit have done well in the Oaks in recent years. I took the 3 Shane's Girlfriend. I thought she got cooked by a hot pace the last time. And if you look at the previous race, she shipped into Delta Downs on November 19th. And was very impressive, a 95 buyer, and anything close to that effort, I think, wins this. And Doug O'Neill, pretty sharp when he ships in. So 3 Shane's Girlfriend from me, but Valadorna, Farrell, Untapped, the 5, the 2, and the 1, respectively. I could see any one of those 3 as a strong contender, but I'm going to lean to Shane, number 3. How about you?
I was undecided. I thought that Farrell was very impressive winning the Silver Boat Day, but I'm guessing that she just loved that track that day. And I'm also guessing that Untapped hated the track because she didn't run a step, and she got kind of hung out on the turn and got beat by 4 1/4, and she had never. That's the worst race she's won by far. So I'm thinking she just didn't like the track. Hoping she gets a fast track and can maybe turn the tables on Farrell here. But Shane's Girlfriend, you make a great point. I mean, she comes in from Santa Anita, where she broke her maiden, and then when Doug O'Neill does ship to Delta, you can bank on the fact that those horses are going to be ready. So they're shipping her back here to the south from Santa Anita, and I think she does have a real shot here. I think it's a 4-horse race. I think Untapped, Farrell, Shane's Girlfriend, and Valadorna should cover you in the pick 4. I would take Untapped at a little bit better price, hoping she bounces back from that muddy track effort.
Let's move to the 10th race, the Grade 3 Fairgrounds Handicap on the turf at about 1 mile and an 1/8. And it's 4-year-olds and up here. And I think a well-matched group. Who did you land on?
Well, let's see. Mike Maker has 4 in here, so I kind of narrowed it down to he's got a 44% chance of winning, I guess. He's got 2 for Ramsey, and I'm wondering which one he's going to say is better because Mr. Ramsey doesn't like him to badmouth any of his horses. So Granny's Kitten, the 5, I think could be the controlling speed, and I like the 1 mile and an 1/8. He's better at at that distance. He's 2 for 3 at distance. He's the only horse in the field with 2 wins at a mile and 1/8. And I think that race in the Bradley set him up very well for this. So I'm going to take Granny's Kitten here, but Oscar nominated the 9, probably going to track from the outside post. I think Maker and Ramsey have a chance to go 1-2 here. Green Grass of Wyoming, the 2, Western Reserve, the 8, both fit well. Western Reserve nearly beat Granny's Kitten in the Bradley, so the distance does give Granny's Kitten a slight edge here, but I would use those 4 in the pick 4 with an edge to Granny's Kitten, the 5.
Those are the ones I like, and I'm going to add one more, Enterprising, if your budget enables you to go one more deeper, then I would take a look at that one. But for the win pick, I'm going to go Green Grass of Wyoming, 3rd off the layoff, and had a nice race on this course in December at the Fairgrounds. So those 2 factors, just a slight edge. I would probably, as far as playing the race, just play a 4 or 5 horse exacta box if you can go one more, add in Enterprising. But 2 Green Grass of Wyoming is going to be the win pick for me. Let's go to the 11th race. It's the Grade 2 Risen Star. 3-year-olds going a mile and a 16th. I took Guess Sweet. I'm guessing Motown might be favored, but Guess Sweet was a little wide last time, more than a little actually, that turned it for home, and still posted a new Beyer top in his 3-year-old debut. And I like to see horses coming out first time out as a 3-year-old and do better than any Beyer fig they've done as a 2-year-old. And he did that. And then this horse has worked a couple of bullets, and that's not the typical MO for trainer Neil Howard, who's pretty conservative. So I think this horse is really doing well right now, and I'm going to ride the Guess Sweet train in the Risen Star, use him with Motown, and then a couple of horses that I think can run improved races off what they did last time and hit the board. Number 10, Takeoff, and number 4, Arklow. How do you see the Risen Star?
I'm right with you on Guess Sweet. I think that one of the things you look at in a 3-year-old is who he's been running against. And I think if you look back at his efforts, they've been flattered by the horses who came back to win. He's lost to McCracken. Wild Shot came back to win. Chief Know-It-All came back to win. Robbie knows him very well. This is the 5th straight time he's running. He's gotten better every single time. And if you can get 6-1 on Guess Sweet, I think it's the best bet of the day. I don't think he's going to be 6-1, even though it is a kind of a spread out field, and Motown's going to get some play, and Local Hero's going to get some play for Asmussen. If you get 6-1, I would jump all over it on Guess Sweet. And Motown might need one. The Remsen in New York, he was very impressive, but that race hasn't come back very, very good. Those horses that came back behind him have not done very well. Local Hero for Giroux, Jervin, the one horse for Joe Sharp, coming off a maiden win. They put him in a stakes race on the turf. That's an interesting angle to come back on the dirt, and I think he's got a shot at getting in the money. And you mentioned the 10-horse Takeoff. I think Mark Cassey always has him ready, and that race he ran behind Guess Sweet, but he wasn't that far off the pace. So I think if Takeoff moves forward, he could get a piece as well. But I'm going to take Guess Sweet to 6, so we agree on this race.
All Stakes pick 4 starts in the 8th race, and I'm going to take all 4 that I mentioned, the 8, 2, 5, and 6. The next leg, I'm going to use all 4 of those fillies I mentioned. Then in the 10th, I'm going to go Green Grass of Wyoming, Granny's Kitten, Oscar nominated, and Enterprising. And if you can afford one more, then it would be Western Reserve for me. And then I'm going to finish it with Guess Sweet and Motown. If you want to cut that in half, then just single Guess Sweet. I like him a lot in there. What about you for the All Stakes pick 4?
I'm going to single Guess Sweet as well. I'm going to go deeper in the first legs. On the Mineshaft, I'm going to go 2, 3, 6, 7. That's Eagle, December 7, Dazzling Gem, and Honorable Duty. And you almost talked me into International Star of the 8, so I might be talked into one more there, but that would break my rule of taking more than half the horses, so we might have to go all if I do that. The second race, the Rachel Alexandra, 1, 2, 3, 5, Untapped, Farrell, Shane's Girlfriend, and Valladorna. Then I'm going to go all in the Fairgrounds Handicap. I like Granny's Kitten, but I think with all the other horses, I really couldn't toss more than 1 or 2 of them. So I'm going to go all there and single the 6-horse Guess Sweet, the last leg, and that's a $72 ticket if you go 4x4 by 9 by single.
Now there's a black gold pick 5 that starts in the 8th race also, so you got to have the only winning ticket to cash here. If you want to play that, Then the two horses that I like in that last leg, I think it's Sly Tom the 8 and the 3 Control Tower. What about you in that 12th race?
I like Sly Tom the 8. I took a long shot in here too. Whiskey Biz for Edward Johnston and Florent Giroux. They claimed him off Asmussen, which is really not a very good angle, but Edward Johnston is kind of an unknown trainer, and he's 33% off the claim, and he's a 23% trainer. Might get under the radar with Whiskey Biz for Giroux, and Sly Tom is going to be my top pick in that race, so I would take the 8 and the 6.
Best of luck. Don't forget the 10,000 point Hit It and Split It that starts on that all-stakes pick 4, race 8 at Fairgrounds if you're playing through Keeneland Select, which we always encourage you to do, and we'll be here next week for another edition of the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com.